In the shadowed depths of the coastal tree, where nobody goes, there are whispers of an incredibly powerful warship lurking deep within the Japanese roster. Hidden in plain sight, this vessel pretends to be a sheep, when in reality, it's a wolf. A hunter and a killer both, this phantom glides through the waves of war thunder, her presence concealed by an entire roster of weaker vessels that surround her. But should one dedicate themselves to her, sacrificing blood, sweat, tears and years, then she may just lend you her power. Her name? JDS Ayanami. The first of the 7 Ayanami class destroyers built for the Japan Maritime Self-Defense Force in the mid-1950s, this ship marked a new era in Japanese naval warfare, being part of a program to expand the fleet with larger and more capable vessels. Ships of the class had a displacement of 2,500 tons at full load, a length of 109 meters or 358 feet, a beam of 10.7 meters or 35 feet, and a depth of 8.1 meters or 26 feet, holding a complement of 220 sailors and officers. She was fitted with an air search radar, surface search radar, variable depth sonar, the Mark 63 fire control system, and electronic warfare and decoy suite. Ships of the class were fitted with 3 turrets, each holding twin 3-inch 50 caliber Mark 22 guns, 4 533mm or 21-inch torpedo tubes, 2 racks for reloads, and 2 Hedgehog anti-submarine mortars were placed ahead of the bridge. Designed to improve on the lackluster performance of the Harukaze class destroyer escort, the Ayanami class was a significant upgrade. The JDS Ayanami was laid down at Mitsubishi Heavy Industries Nagasaki shipyard on November 20th, 1956, launched on the 1st of June 1957, and commissioned on February 12, 1958. The Ayanami class adopted a long forecastle design with an inclined aft deck called a Holland Slope, named after the scenic sloping street in Nagasaki City. Their steam turbine propulsion systems were similar to the ones of the Harukaze class, but they varied between each ship in the class as part of the JMSDF's attempt to find the best propulsion system for its future surface combatants. Unofficially, the class was designated DDK Hunter Killer Submarine, but she was officially classified as a destroyer due to her size and displacement. Despite being a reliable escort ship for many years, the JDS Ayanami's armament was considered inadequate when she entered service and did not receive any major upgrades or modifications until her decommissioning. In War Thunder, the JDS Ayanami is technically classified as a frigate due to its light armament. Compared to the preceding Isuzu, Ayanami is better in every way, having another pair of dual-purpose 76mm guns, double the torpedoes, faster, and with more crew. Commanding the JDS Ayanami in battles has been an exhilarating experience. Its speed, firepower, and fire control system make it a formidable opponent. The 6 dual-purpose guns and competent fire control system allow her to destroy aircraft, fight torpedo boats, and other frigates very effectively. The sheer volume of fire and the APHE shell allow her to compete in a 1v1 versus other fleet destroyers, though she is less sturdy and prone to ammo detonation. Unlike the USS Dealey, which I covered the other day, this vessel has access to torpedoes and the Hedgehog thrower, giving some variety in playstyle and diversity of tactics over a pure gun frigate. The turrets have a 360-degree rotation, and the rear turret has excellent firing angles, able to engage targets 15 to 20 degrees off the bow. This gives you the ability to minimize your profile while still having all guns unmasked. Ammunition placement is a liability, but you can manage that, and I'll show you that a bit later. It can meet large destroyer leaders and light cruisers like the USS Summers or the USS Raleigh, which far outclass Ayanami in firepower. So stay out of their sights. The unadjusted RPM of 300 rounds can absolutely harass these vessels. However, it's unlikely that you will secure a kill. Overall, the JDS Ayanami is a powerful addition to any War Thunder player's fleet. Unfortunately, it is at the end of the Japanese coastal tree, which does play very differently to other nations, like the Germans or the Soviets. The Japanese lean heavily into subs, chasers and frigates, with very few fast attack options besides the PT-15 or the premium PG-02. Ayanami feels like a top tier vessel. It feels significantly better than any other Japanese coastal vessel I have played, and a lot of those are fun and effective. Its generous placement at 4.0 see it fight a variety of targets, cleaning the board in a down tier and offering a decent challenge in an up tier. The ship is clearly a destroyer, as it technically outguns anything in the frigate class by at least 50%. This ship could easily be the next SKR, making short work of those vessels if you take the RBU out of the equation. If everyone had one of these ships, I can guarantee it would be complained about just as much as the SKR-7. Its unique features and tech tree placement make it a fascinating vessel to command. Despite its vulnerabilities, with the right strategy, it can dominate the seas. If you're enjoying the deep dive into the Ayanami, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Also, check out some of my other videos for more insights into War Thunder's vast array of vehicles. Don't forget to share your experience with this ship in the comments below. I'll let you watch the rest of this fight, and then we'll jump in and have a look at the ship itself and discuss any weaknesses or tactics that we might be able to employ. Stick around, it won't be long. Ahoy and welcome to the channel. Today we're looking at JDS Ayanami. The best top tier Japanese vessel, probably the best top tier coastal vessel in a coastal tree that doesn't go any higher than 4.0. So the Japanese are a little bit blessed and all of their ships are fairly low battle rating and they seem to benefit from that. JDS Ayanami has a very big weak spot in the form of the ammunition storage for the B turret. It has the Hedgehog mortars on the deck. You've got exposed torpedoes on the deck. If you bring those with you, I always do. And yeah, she's still a good ship though. Clearly a destroyer. The amount of firepower, the weight that the ship has, definitely puts it into the destroyer class in my view. And it's a little bit ironic that the ship that replaced the Harukaze as Japan's coastal defense destroyer is in fact a coastal boat in War Thunder and costs an absolute fortune to research. It's got the same guns as all of the 76mm US. You've got high explosive, armor piercing high explosive, and HEVT. And they cost 6,700 for 6 cartridges. If you bring one box of every ammunition type, you'll see that you have those weaknesses above the waterline. If you only bring 2 types of ammunition, so running very, very light on the ammunition, you can remove that ammunition above the decks and the ship will become somewhat more survivable. But you will run low on ammunition and you do have to choose between the shells. Do you bring the high explosive VT so you can fight aircraft and bring APHE so you can pierce destroyers, but then miss out on the extra punch of the high explosive round? Then you can just head to the capture zone and reload. That way you're negating that lack of ammunition. The ship's guns fire extremely fast. At 4.0 there isn't much of a lineup that you can bring unless you're bringing ships from a lower battle rating. The left side of the coastal tree is not very exciting apart from the Yuri class, in my opinion, and maybe the Ikazuchi. So the right side is definitely the better option if you're going to grind out the Japanese tree. The Ayanami is by far the best coastal ship I have played, and I would say it's better than the SKR. If you're a competent captain, you're just missing out on the superpower punch of the RBUs. But the APHE and the sheer volume of fire really make that a non-issue. Building up my lineup, I decided to bring the predecessor, the Harukaze, at 4.0, and you can see how ridiculously cheap this thing is to research. 3 or 4 games and I'll have it spaded. I really do question the logic behind the decisions sometimes. These older boats really just have no chance in a down tier. We do know there is a dangerous foe about. There is the Project 204. So this chap, I've been seeing him in a lot of battles. Taking him down. He got some RBUs away, so we'll slow down just a little. British destroyer. Get some high explosive out, try and disable him a little bit. And then we will switch to armor piercing. And once we get around these rocks, we'll open fire and shred him. It takes 10 seconds to switch to a new shell type, so you have to plan ahead. Looking around for threats. That change is complete. He is waiting for us. Open fire, we're doing ripple fire, and it is just continuous stream of 76mm shells. They don't have the greatest amount of filler, and I would liken them to the 57mm Soviet armor-piercing rounds, where you have to hit what you want to destroy. And the TNT is just extra. They've got a fairly good fuse time, but I need this guy to turn a little so I can hit his machinery rooms. I'm going to switch sides while we wait for those guns to cool down. You have about 20 seconds before the guns overheat, and that's enough to put 100 shells downrange. Ideally, you want to shoot for about 15 seconds, but I'm pretty heavy on the trigger finger. These poor Clemsons, they really just suffer. You can't sail into the open water in a Clemson. You have to treat it like a torpedo boat. In my view. I've had some success in them. They're pretty decent ships, but they are not gunboats. One of them is arguably better than the other. I can't remember which. One of them has better torpedoes. Barker is down. Keeping an eye out for dangerous coastal threats. We've got a destroyer there. He looks pretty damaged. Our guns are always hot at the moment. Something sneaky about. I want to shoot them. We're not going to... Oh no, bomber. No hope of switching rounds. Oh, we survived the attack. Oh, here's a lesson in threat identification. That fellow in the background there is highly dangerous to us. 5-inch fast firing guns with a very good rangefinder. He's coming bow in. So he is presenting a bit of an angle, and they have a slight amount of armor. That being the USS Mitcher or the Sister Wilkinson. Oh, we've hit his rangefinder. Now he's turning. They have a very fast fire up rate, update time, so we want to keep moving. Keep adjusting our course, because if I give him any time to beat us in, his armor-piercing rounds are very effective. The high explosive aren't too bad. Coming in like this, he only can get one gun on target. But he's harder to hit, and he can evade us a bit better. Conversely, we can get all of our guns on target all the time. Crossing the T. He can make the choice to turn, and he's done that. But now he's presenting more of his ship for us to hit. Giving a generous amount of lead there. Knowing that the ship will speed up as it completes its turn. We want to try and get into that crew compartment near the bridge. A little bit short. A little bit short. Not by much though. Those shells are hitting pretty close. Contact. A few more now and he's down. These guys are tough nuts to crack. And I believe they've been recently raised in battle rating. Well, maybe not recently, but they're certainly higher than I remember them being. At this range, they will find a way through. I believe that's M17. If we give him enough high explosive, he should just sink. Just everywhere. 500 grams is just enough to get through the hull, I believe. Just enough. He's going down. And he doesn't know it yet. He's too busy focused on someone else. Project 206. Dangerous foe. But not so much against this ship. Our guns just fire too fast. Even if you're a terrible shot, you'll eventually be able to dial it in. And you're maneuverable enough, if you know he's there, to dodge those torpedoes. So, it's proven now that the high explosive just does not work against American destroyers. I mean, I've crippled him and he's sort of flooding. But you need the armor piercing to get through that splinter armor they have. Another British destroyer coming in at a bad angle for him. Try and feed it through his nose. Take out the bow gun. Hitting the ready rack. We just need to get through to the machinery room and it should be done. Checking around for danger. Let the guns cool a little bit, making them do a lot of work. We are sinking. We have taken a battering from that gearing. Comes that Moffat. This guy spanked us. The 5-inch armor-piercing shells hitting that squishy bit under the B turret. You have to be really careful of these larger destroyers at 5.0. They just have that little bit of extra firepower that's enough to silence you. Let's go in with a steady stream of APHE. He's distracted. He has reacted. But we have about 10 seconds of gunnery time on him. We are going to have to stop firing in a moment. Front two turrets are very hot. We have a target off to the port bow. German destroyer. Alright, now we're fighting... Whoa, that was close. Torpedoes. Threading through. But only out of luck. Where did our friend, Mr. Moffat, go? Let's keep the focus fire on him. German DD is behind the rock. We should have about 20 seconds. Where's this porter gone? There he is. Gotta watch that fire. Bring that tail around. Having the guns have to cool down does force you to look around. While you're waiting for them to cool, take that time to dodge. Alright, German DD visible. We'll get 2 shots in before he's behind cover. Oh, he hit us then. Pretty solid hit to the rear turret. Well, let's be ready for him. Turret's 10 seconds away, but we still have the front 2. Ripple fire. Front to back. Just keep the aim point in the same location. And let him pass through our fire. Oh, the porter's gone down too. 2 for 1. Uh-oh, he's back. We've taken hits. We're on fire. And we've exploded. We just fast enough. I think I've said it a few times in my other videos. 60 kilometers an hour is the sweet spot to be able to get to the capture zones and be competitive. And this ship just falls under that. What have we got here peeking its bow? Out. Looks like an Asheville. We are about to have a run-in with a Project 204. I'm pretty sure that the bow is long enough on this ship to be able to tank an RBU. He might take out the turrets, but I'm pretty sure. Let's get these hedgehogs off the deck. Maybe we might get a hit. He's fired his RBUs. We've taken hits. Massive hits to the bow, but no visible damage besides the turret. And our friend hiding behind the rock has taken him out with RBU 6000. That's a little bit of karma. A little bit of damage we'll take a moment to repair. Destroyers bearing down on us from astern. Hopefully there's nothing around this corner. Capture the zone back. Stable. Oh, we got a PT boat. It's not a super dangerous one, fortunately. Ah, the Drak is back. Let's hit him with armor piercing because I just don't want to mess around. Get rid of it. Wiped him. We are exposed. Oh, you can only take so much before you succumb. Oh, so can we time this? Can we time this? Air brake. Where is he? There he is! Drop it! Yeah! Take that. Epic capture. Defense. I feel so sorry for these guys. Even on this map, which is a fairly large map, I've now got to a point where I can just pick them off from the spawn. And so, if everyone were to have one of these ships, lower tier coastal would cease to exist. I foresee, if enough people unlock it, it'll go up to 4.3. And if I keep enough range, the only weapon that's really going to be effective against me is another 76mm gun. So that's why it's so important for the destroyers to concentrate on the frigates. The ammunition costs aren't too bad because I rarely use more than one box of 6 cartridges of ammunition of each type. So far I'm spending a maximum of 13,000 silver lions, but making a fair amount back in return. Oh, someone's got the Rim 24 and the RBU. Rockets flying about. VS-10 up on the foils, but we are moving away from him. So that's why it appears that he's moving so slow. I can just turn hard to starboard here, and that should take us well off the torpedo track. We've got something else coming through. G5. Finish him off pretty quickly. Someone else did it. Let's wait for these destroyers here to settle up camp like they usually do. Shooting down the funnel into the Bravo point. They know I'm here. Yep. They were shooting at me on the way here. But one Japanese destroyer is not going to be enough, I don't think. It's like if you feed it along the length of the ship, look how much... It's obscene how much damage you do. You just have to hit those vital areas, the machinery rooms, the crew compartments. Again, this one's already on low health. There we go, finished him off. Any more takers? Only at 4 kilometers. I'll let the guns cool down a little bit. Wait for him to make his moves. Sight this one in. See where those shells land. There we go. Feed them right into the bridge, hopefully. Extend the range a little. He's turning to meet us. Not much in the way of crew damage yet, but we've taken out all the top deck modules. Rangefinder and looks like a radio room. That was a solid hit there, right into the engine. Got quite a few boilers that we can hit. All of those areas contain a lot of crew. So because we don't have enough TNT to outright detonate ammunition storages, this is my method. We're going for major crew losses. Oh dear. Guy's got a little bit of firepower. Not too much. Really outmatched, and that's why the Japanese Navy wanted to upgrade from that class. Oh dear. Genieri. Again, a much better destroyer. Well, there you have it. That is my review of JDS Ayanami. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe as we park up the ship for the night and let the crew have a rest. I'm Commander Tyrael. See you next time.